AITA for laughing at my SIL and telling her I have zero desire to raise her child? Obligatory throwaway. All names changed for anonymity. I, 44F, am married to my hubby, Jimmy, 48M, for over 2 decades. My parents died suddenly in a car accident 10 years ago. I have a younger sister, Abigail, 39F, with Down syndrome, and Jimmy and I are guardians. Abigail is my sweet angel on earth. When my parents passed, I was a working mother of 3 young kids, helping to build our family business with my husband. At first, Abigail lived with us full-time. Jimmy has always been at my side with her care and loves her to bits. After a few months we realized that my sister needed more attention than we could give her. There was just not enough time in the day. We discussed what would be best for her and decided to put her into a private adult home for special needs people. It's very costly, over $10K a month, and comes from our own finances. The facility does all sorts of activities and field trips. She loves her home, her friends and the special days the facility hosts. We are always stopping by to either visit, sign her out on holidays to spend with family, keep her overnight for special sleepovers with my kids and take her on every vacation with us. We never go more than 24 hours without one of us making sure she's okay. Now on to the issue. I have a SIL, Jenny, 42F, who had her first child after years of trying. She's become the typical first-time mom who believes she invented motherhood and is openly opinionated about things she believes other parents fall short on. I mostly ignore her and so does Jimmy. We hosted a barbecue at my house for Labor Day with my Mill, Jenny, her husband, baby and my kids. Abigail had a planned trip to the zoo and asked if she could go. Of course. We said okay. While we were eating, Jenny turned to me and asked me where Abigail was. Her tone was more accusatory than questioning. I simply didn't want to get into it with Jenny, so I said Abigail wanted to stay at the home. Jenny then turned to her hubby and said, "See, this is why it won't ever happen." My Mill asked Jenny what she was talking about. Jenny, all snarky, said to the whole table, "We did our wills last week and knew these two wouldn't be suitable as guardians of our baby if something happened to us. They tossed her sister into a home rather than be real family to her. I won't let that happen to my child." I didn't let it show, but I was extremely hurt she could say this. Instead of yelling, I laughed at her and said, "Well, that's great news since I have zero desire to raise your kid." More was said, but that's the gist of it. Jenny left with her family calling me nasty swear words as she walked out. I might have said a few swear words myself right back at her. It's been over a month now and Jimmy is still getting nasty texts from Jenny demanding I apologize. My Mill knows she overstepped with her comment but is asking me to be the bigger person and say sorry to keep the peace. I refuse. AITA? NTA and Jenny is a major awe. If she had actual concerns she should have talked to you or her brother. And if she had half a brain she would see that sometimes living in a group home is better than with family who don't have the time or resources to properly care for or enrich the life of a person with special needs. Sounds like you are still involved in Abigail's life and she's happy. That is what's important. Also, if SIL does feel this way, she doesn't need to make it known and do so in such a hurtful and insulting way. So is the deal you need to be the bigger person? Why is that? My own mother would have told me off if I acted like your SIL did. But your SIL has a strong personality, so your Mill wants to take the easy way out. Is it okay she hurt your feelings but not that you hurt her daughters? BTW. It warms my heart Abigail loves her group home. NTA. Thank you everyone. My Mill called me this morning. which prompted the post and asked me to call SIL and make amends. She's concerned about seeing the new baby and SIL's threats to not attend Thanksgiving if I don't. I love my Mill and have a normally good relationship with her. That's where I'm feeling the push and if AITA because I'm refusing to apologize. I couldn't get all this in due to post limits. I talked to my husband and he said it's up to me on how I handle this. He thinks Jenny was insulting him as well as me. NTA, you and your husband have been doing everything right, emo. What the SIL said was horrible and all you did was agree with what she said. Emo, she should be the one apologizing for her behavior. If your sister is happy where she is and would rather go on the trip, then why not let her? She can clearly make her own decisions when it comes to where she wants to spend her time. People with Down syndrome are just as capable of making decisions as the rest of us. Sometimes people just need a little help, just like elderly folks. I hope the SIL stops attacking you. And your husband, that's just disgusting. NTA. What's she upset about? You agreed with her. In fact, I probably would have gone further and said, yes, we tossed my sister in a home that helps love and care for her. Which sounds like more than what your real family is going to be able to give your kid if that's your attitude. Tell her you'll apologize for your response after she apologizes for her initial appalling comment. I did not ask to be guardian to your baby, and quite frankly I am amazed that you think anyone wants that job considering how self-absorbed, self-righteous and clueless you are. Aside from being an all-around PETA? Feel better for hearing the truth? I know I feel good about saying it out loud for once. NTA. OMG. No way. And don't apologize. Lots of us would have sent her packing after the stunt she pulled as a guest in your home. NTA. Your SIL was the one who started off being ugly and you just volleyed it right back at her. Your Mill is also an asshole for saying you should apologize just to keep the peace. NTA. I think something along the likes of, phew. Thank God, was a great response to her not wanting you to raise her kids, lol. Neither of you needed to cuss. But she's definitely the A here. Not you. Abigail sounds delightful and you and your husband sound like you do a great job. NTA. Be a bigger person always translates into, please just fold. Apologize and make our life easier. You have done nothing wrong, therefore no apology is required. NTA. And please reassure us all by telling us your SIL isn't named as your children's guardian if something should happen to you and your husband. NTA. At all. You basically expressed that you are on the same page with your SIL about raising her child, which is not wanting any part of it at all. Was she expecting you to want to raise her children? You also have no obligation to be the bigger person and apologize first. NTA. But take a page from my child's book. He gives the apology but is very specific and it's not really an apology. So here's one I witnessed when he was in primary school. I'm sorry you feel that way, but you're still a jerk. He officially apologized but didn't lie. His thought still to this day is if he has to lie, then you're getting a two-part apology because lying is worse. Giving an apology without meaning it is a lie just to make someone feel better. So he doesn't lie and apologizes. One other time when he shoved a bully and I had to go to the principal's office, there were two other children besides mine along with their respective parents. One was the bully, the other was the bully's victim, then there was my son. The bully was continuously harassing the other boy we'll call Joe. My son told the bully to leave Joe alone. Mind you, my son was twice the bully's size in the 3rd grade. Bully said make me, my son pushed him with all his effort. 100 lb kid shoving a 65 lb kid means he went sliding the entire length of the cafeteria. So now we're all here listening. Joe is staring at his feet. Bully is crying and my son just looks indignant. Bully's M9 meters wants something to be done because her son was humiliated by my son. I ask what about what your kid did to Joe? Her answer was we aren't here to discuss that but what my son did to hers. I looked at her and said we wouldn't even be here if her son would leave Joe alone. The principal then said okay, let's be fair, if my son would apologize for pushing the bully, would that clear this up because no one is getting expelled or suspended? Bully's mom with a smile and smirk said yes, if me son apologized it would be fine. Mind you, Joe and his mom are being ignored during the entire ordeal. Principal goes okay, apologize for pushing the bully. My son looks odd at the mom and says no, I'm not sorry and I'll do it again. Joe looked up bully mom, PSI got so big. Joe's mom tried not to giggle. Principal says it's the right thing to do and apologize. My aunt in his infinite wisdom asks, do you want me to lie or tell the truth? He explains further, if I tell a lie I get in trouble, so I tell the truth. The truth is I'm not sorry. Just apologize to make him feel better. My son smiles and says okay. He looks at Joe and says I'm sorry that the bully is a jerk and hurt your feelings, he won't bother you anymore, I promise. Look at the bully and says do you understand? Turns to me and said I apologized, can we leave? The bully's mom looked like a goldfish. Joe's mom said this is concluded to my satisfaction and there will be no repeat performance, correct? We all left the office. ND that kid never bothered Joe again. Moral of the story is it's LL how you word the apology. My kid apologized but not the way or to whom they expected. NTA. You recognized you couldn't give your sister Abigail the one-on-one time she needed and made all the right choices to ensure she would be cared for. She is safe, loved and spends tons of time with you guys. Your SIL seems to be insinuating that you've just shunted her aside and never see her. On top of implying that Abigail must be with you at all times for things like she doesn't have her own friends and fun things she likes to do. Do not apologize. She owes you the apology. NTA. It would be a cold day in hell before I'd apologize. But I'm not sure what she was so mad about. That you didn't get on your hands and knees to beg her to raise the kid? WTF? I mean, she literally started all this by speaking about something she knows zero about. Why isn't Mill tell her to apologize? NTA. My God, the nerve of some people. Nope. She put her foot in her mouth and you just shoved it in further. No apology necessary if it isn't two-way. You are NTA and definitely do not owe your SIL any apology. NTA. Jenny needs to get blocked. And Mill Nita to either keep her nose out of it or TWLL Jenny, she's an awful person and needs to apologize to you. Aren't you lucky you don't HAVW to spend any time with Jenny anymore? NTA. She needs to come apologize to you before I would ever let her in my house again. NTA. What a disgusting thing to say. You were more restrained than I would have been. I'd have thrown her out and never spoken to her again. Nasty.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.